Welcome to Undo and Renew. Tonight we're going to just work on releasing and making space. So wherever you are, go ahead and lay your mat out. You'll need 2 bricks, yoga blocks. If you don't have that, you can use towels folded up the size of yoga blocks. And then later you'll want a bed cushion or a pillow. And we're going to start in a comfortable seat. I sent a playlist out in the email, so if you want to have that ready, you can leave it off for now, and then when we come to lie down, you can turn the playlist on. So just make your way onto your mat, find your comfortable seat. You can bring the hands to the tops of the thighs, to these points just inside and above the kneecaps, and just warm these points a little bit. Take a few breaths. These points are called joy of living on the liver meridian, and the liver meridian is where a lot of toxins are cleaned out. So we're gonna just nourish that liver meridian for a moment here. Take the circles the opposite direction. And if you're seated on a block, it helps. By lifting the pelvis, you get a little bit more extension in the hip joints. So just finding that comfortable seat, tuning into the breath, arriving on the mat, warming these points on the legs, just inside and above the kneecaps. Joy of living. Joy that you've arrived here for the next 75 minutes. And then bring the palms just to rest in that place. Close off the eyes for a moment and just tune into the breath. So start bringing the awareness of the breath all the way down into the belly. Let the belly expand as you inflate the lungs. Notice the coolness of the air as it comes in through the nostrils. The wind as it exhales out the nostrils. Let the shoulders come away from the ears. Let the legs feel heavy. And then just gently bring one ear towards one shoulder, so the left ear towards the left shoulder, and then let the chin roll towards the chest, right ear to right shoulder. Pause there, take a full breath in, and as you exhale back towards the front, let the head come towards the front, chin towards the chest, left ear towards the left shoulder, take a full breath in, and as you exhale, just rolling towards the front. Go ahead and do that a few more times, taking an inhale breath at the top, and then gently letting the chin come towards the chest, rolling to the other side, take a full breath in. Exhale, down the front. Go ahead and find 2 more rounds here like this. And with each inhale at the top, you might notice you go a little deeper in the pose just through bringing the air into the body. And as you exhale, it's like a release, letting the chin draw towards the chest. So we're going to focus tonight on letting go and releasing. Go ahead and finish this round and then let the chin come towards the chest. Roll back up and noticing what's going on in the body as we release. Bring the fingertips up to the shoulders. Allow the shoulder blades to come down the back. And then we're going to draw some circles with the elbows, really slowly and as big as you can make those circles. So really coming together in the back and then Noticing if the circles are round, they're not round, maybe staying at that edge where it doesn't feel round and pressing into a little bit. And then the next time the arms come alongside the body, just pause, change directions, really opening up as the shoulder blades come together in the back. Noticing if you can start to draw the circle even bigger. One more. And then release, just roll the shoulders out, shake it out a little bit, and then we're going to draw the arms up towards the ceiling, get nice and tall. Clasp onto the left wrist and draw yourself over to the right. Opening up that side body, take a full breath in and a full breath out. So releasing with the exhalations. One more full breath in, full breath out. And then come back up to center, clasp the opposite wrist, exhale yourself over to the other side. So really staying with this theme that as you inhale, you feel the space, that the air is inflating, and as you exhale, perhaps you can move into that space a little bit. And then draw yourself back up to center. Take that nice tall stretch. Draw the shoulder blades behind you. We're going to take a twist. First to the right. Bring the left arm over the right leg. Get nice and tall here. Feel the air as you inhale. And then as you exhale, start to press the hand into the thigh. Don't worry about craning the neck behind you. We're going to really work on twisting through the guts. Thinking about 3 more breaths here, gently working into it, gently opening up the body. One more full breath in and a full breath out. And then inhale, hands all the way back up, nice and tall, shoulder blades down the back, and then over to the other side. So before you really go deeply into the twist, feel your foundation. Feel that you're not hunching or leaning back too much. Find your center. And then as you exhale, start to walk the left hand back, press the right hand into the left thigh. Feel as the air inflates, the body expands, that you can go a little deeper on the exhalation. And the neck can even be just facing forward. You're really focusing on twisting out the guts. We wring this part of the body out. It's like wringing the organs out so that fresh chi and fresh blood can come into the belly, into all those organs. One more full breath in, full breath out. And then draw yourself back forward, arms up one more time. We're going to take that lateral side stretch again. Clasp onto the left wrist, draw yourself over to the right. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale back to center. Clasp the opposite wrist. Take yourself over to the left on the exhale. Nice big full breaths, moving into the space you're creating. Releasing and letting go of tension as you exhale it out. And then back to center. We're going to take a few rounds of Nadi Showdown. So you're going to bring your palm in front of your face. You can anchor the middle finger and the first finger right under the bridge of the nose, bridge of the eyebrows. And then take a full breath in through the nose. Close the right nostril and exhale out the left. Inhale in through the left. Close both nostrils. Exhale out the right. Inhale in through the right. Close both nostrils. Exhale up the left. Inhale into the left. 2, 3, 4. Close both nostrils. Exhale right. 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. You're going to continue on your own as you inhale on the left. I've guided you through a 4 count. You can stay at that, or perhaps you can start to lengthen the breath, going to a 5 or 6 count. Just keep the inhalations and the exhalations the same length. Just taking that breath through each nostril, alternating from one to the other. And the next time you exhale out the left side, release the technique. Bring the hands back to the tops of the thighs. Back to that point, that joy of living point. Close off the eyes for a moment and just notice what you notice from this technique. So we clear the pathway. Finding balance between both sides of the body, yin and yang sides of the body. And then release the hands from the legs, bring the arms in front of you, bring the forearms together. We're going to give ourselves a little pranic bath. So as if you're scooping something up, pouring it over you. Keep the elbows together as long as you can. And then as they start to slide apart, bring the backs of the hands together, float all the way up, and then hands are really bright. I'm really brightening my fingers as I come back to where I started. And then scooping that up as if you're drawing something over you. So we're getting into all the little parts of the shoulder here. We're going to take 3 more rounds. So inhaling up, coming back around on the exhale. See if you can really brighten the fingers. As you come back around. 1 more. Coming all the way back to where we started. Hands back to the tops of the thighs. Joy of living. Give them a little rub there, those little points. And then go ahead and roll yourself off your block. Remove the block, keep it handy for later. And then just gently roll yourself back onto the back. We're going to bring both knees towards the chest, rock a little side to side. Really squeeze those knees in. And then find your center and bring the forehead towards the knees. Feel how the inhalation presses against the tops of the thighs. Keep drawing your head towards your knees. Just a few more breaths here. Squeezing everything back to center. Give it a big squeeze. And then release the head back down to the mat. Both palms on top of the kneecaps. And we're just going to roll the knees in a circle one direction. And you'll feel that in the pelvis where the sacroiliac joint is, where the sacrum, the bottom of the spine, tucks into the pelvis. So we're just giving it a little massage there. Pause, take the circle the opposite direction. And then pause again. Find your center. We're going to open up the thighs. Bring the hands between the thighs, palm side up, and take an effortless happy baby. So open up your legs just enough to set them inside the palms. So the hands might be on the calves, they might be on the ankles, but instead of reaching for the feet like we usually do in happy baby, we're going to keep the shoulders relaxed on the mat. You can tuck the chin towards the chest a little bit just to make sure you're not extending the cervical spine. And then use the arms like a lever, so the weight of the legs on the arms is actually what's opening the hips. And we're going to be here for a few minutes, so just relax into this pose. Allow the weight of the legs to open up the groin. Breathe down into the belly. And just release to gravity. So allow the shoulders to release to gravity. Allow the legs to be opened by their own weight through gravity. And with our theme of releasing and letting go tonight, just see if you can let the breath be your guide. So as you inhale, feeling the space that the lungs create as they fill, and as you exhale, moving into that space, just relaxing into that space. So that you might notice as you inhale, maybe you feel a little more tension in the body, and as you exhale, you just release out that tension with the breath. Just finding about 5 more breaths here. And then release the feet. Squeeze the knees towards you, rock a little side to side. You're going to want to have your pillow handy. And you can start your playlist whenever you're ready. If you want to have a playlist tonight, it's a very mellow one that I sent out. And then once your pillow is handy, you're just going to have it alongside the body. Roll back down onto your back. So bring the pillow onto the left side of the body. Extend the left leg and draw the right knee towards you. As you exhale, draw the knee towards the right armpit. So you might feel just a little pulsing here with the breath, because as you inhale, the body wants to make room. So the leg draws a little bit away from the body. As you exhale, see if you can really press out all the stale air by drawing the knee towards you. Inhaling, you'll feel the spaciousness. Exhale, use the muscle of the arms to draw the knee towards the armpit. And this position is called expel the wind. And we're really giving the organs a massage here. You're actually massaging along the ascending colon line, hence the name expel the wind. So just work with that for a few more breaths. And just letting everything release from the guts. Even just pressing and drawing the knee in a little bit more is going to help expel any stale air. Sometimes when we exhale, we're not really exhaling all the air in the body. So we want to work with lengthening the breath. Go ahead and find just a few more breaths here. And then we're going to bring the right leg across the body onto the pillow. So coming into another twist here, press into the arm bones, lift the shoulders a little bit so you can get the shoulders more onto the mat. So sometimes when we twist the left, the right shoulder might rise up. Just press into the arm bones, lift the shoulders, let them come back down, see if you can get them more evenly onto the mat. And then you can take the left hand onto the top of the right thigh and just, again, just the weight of the arm. You don't even really need to pull it. And if the leg's not all the way down on the pillow, just take another block or bolster, lift up as much as you need so that the leg is supported. Let the right arm be heavy. Let the right shoulder be heavy. Again, with the breath, as you inhale, you notice that the breath is filling the body. As you exhale, perhaps you can feel that the body can release into the twist a little bit more. And then start looking towards the right hand. So start just letting the cervical spine, the neck, have a little bit release. Don't press it over to the right, just look towards the right. And then let the heaviness of the head start bringing it more to the right as you exhale. So again, once you look that direction, the head's going to want to start to move that direction, but rather than using the muscle to push it, just allow the breath to unwind it. And staying with that notion that the body is filling and making space on the inhale, and that you can move into that space on the exhalation. Make sure the right hand is, the palm is facing towards the ceiling. That's going to help open up that right shoulder. And keeping your mind on the breath and noticing what happens when you exhale. Notice that release to gravity. Find just about 5 more big belly breaths here. And then go ahead and release the left leg from the top of the right thigh. You can even use your hand to help you roll back onto the back. Bring both hands once again over the tops of the knees. Rock a little side to side until you find your center. You're going to bring the bolster or the bed pillow over to the other side. And then hands to the tops of the kneecaps, and as if you're rowing a boat, extend the legs and then draw the knees towards you, out to the side, and then back to where you started. Go ahead and take one more big round like that. And then extend the right leg long. Interlace the hands over the top of the left knee. And now we're expelling the wind on the descending side of the colon. So again, with each exhale, just drawing the knee in, pressing out all the stale air. As you inhale, letting there be that space between the leg and the body with the breath, and then exhale, draw it towards you. Really extend that exhale. Squeeze out all the stale air. So you're getting massage in the organs here. You're also getting a little bit of opening there in the hip joint. Go ahead and find a few more breaths here. Just allowing the spaciousness on the inhale. Exhale, squeeze the knee in. Press out all the stale air. And then we're going to release the hold of the left leg. Draw the left leg across the body. If it feels nice, sometimes it's nice to pick up the hips a little bit. You can go a little bit deeper. So get your leg onto the cushion. Of course, if it doesn't come to relax easily and feel supported, put more things underneath there. Bring the arms out to either side. Press into the arm bones. Lift the shoulders. So I'm lifting the shoulders so I can find a little bit more evenness between the shoulders on the mat and the mat. And then bend the right arm to the top of the left thigh. And just pause here with the breath. So again, we're wringing out the organs. We're twisting through the middle back mostly. And then when you're ready, start to gently just look towards the left. And noticing on each exhalation, the head just wants to move a little bit more to the left. Keeping that right shoulder heavy on the mat. Letting gravity do all the work. Really noticing in the body what happens the longer you stay in this pose. The longer we hold these poses, we start to find more and more relaxation in the connective tissue. So you might feel all of a sudden that your shoulder releases, or that your toe has a little release. Anywhere in the body, it's all connected through the fascia, through the connective tissue. And so we hold these poses to allow that connective tissue to unwind. Finding just about 5 more breaths on this side. Nice, big, deep, long belly breaths. And if you have the hand on the thigh, go ahead and release. Let the head come back to look at the ceiling or the sky. Roll back onto the back. Walk yourself back to center. Hug the knees back in. And rock a little side to side. And then hands on top of the kneecaps one more time. Bring them all the way towards you this time, and then we're gonna press them away from us, open them up, and then back around. Go ahead and find a few more circles. And the next position we're going to take is legs up the wall. So if you have a wall, and you've done this with me before, you can go ahead and move towards the wall. Otherwise, you can just bring your block or your pillow. I'll show you both variations, but I'll show you the one with the block or pillow first. So from this bridge prep pose, just lifting the hips, pressing the feet, placing the block underneath the sacrum. So you don't want to feel it on your spine and your back, but it's supporting the heavy part of the pelvis. And then you can take one leg and then the other up into the sky. If you have a wall, even if you're going to do it just with the block for now, I'll just show you how to get into the position for later, because this is one of the most nourishing things you can do for your lower back. You're in a lot of lower back pain. So if you have a real wall, you bring your side body to the wall, lay down on your back, and then turn yourself around so the buttocks are nice and tight against the wall. Sometimes our hamstrings are really tight, so the legs don't want to extend. You can have the legs bent or extended. And if you're having lower back pain or any sort of back pain, you can stay here for 10 or 12 minutes. It's going to create a little bit more space between each of the lower lumbar spine. And if the legs start to tingle, you just bring the soles of the feet together and open up the legs. If you're in a virtual legs up the wall on the block, if the legs start to tingle or feel too tired, just bring them back down into this bridge prep pose, but leave the block there. And then you're still getting that action of lengthening between each vertebra in the lower back. So whether or not you're at the wall or on a block, see if you can stay with it. Be here about another 90 seconds. And this is another release. So you can really have your hands on the belly. You can have them onto the side body, open out to the side. Tonight's theme about releasing and letting go. This is a really good position for looking at that, because we have no control now over gravity, the fluids coming back to the body, back down to the liver to be cleansed. It's all happening just through reversing gravity. We have to let go here, because there's no holding on to keep the fluids in the body in the feet when we reverse gravity. So see if you can stick with it about another 7 to 10 breaths. And remember, if it starts to feel like too much, just bend your knees rather, bring your feet onto the mat. Take a few breaths there, and then you can come back into it. And once again, just noticing what's happening in the body. So do you feel a change in temperature? Do you feel those little twitches of letting go, perhaps all the way up into the shoulders, or the fingers? See if you can find 3 more breaths here. And then wherever you're at, go ahead and bring the knees down towards the chest. So whether or not you're at the block or the wall, notice what you feel in the legs. If you feel any sensation, changes in temperature. And then if you're at the wall, you're going to roll off the wall and come back to the mat. If you're on the mat, just bring your feet down. Take a breath here in this bridge prep, supported bridge prep. And then press into the feet. Remove the block, roll back down. Hands to the belly just for a moment. Breathing into those hands underneath the belly, underneath the hands. Noticing any changes in the body. And then draw the knees towards the chest. Give yourself a big squeeze here. And then roll onto the side. Press yourself up. Turn yourself around. And we're just going to take some hip circles here in this tabletop. So start with just gently moving the hips in a circle. Make the circle as big and as slow as you can. Notice where the circle's not round, and see if you can just press into those places where it doesn't feel round. And then pause and take the circle the other direction. Once again, noticing where there's tension. If there's a part of the circle you want to go through really fast, that probably means you need to stay there and press into it a little bit. That might be where you're holding a little extra tension. Noticing if the circle is round. Just letting these movements be nice and juicy. And then pause, make your way to center. And we're going to roll all the way down onto the belly. You're going to open up the shoulders here. You can bring a block underneath the forehead. And we're going to turn and just place the left temple on the block. You might have to adjust the block as we roll onto the left side. So you're going to walk your left fingertips out towards the left. Come on to the left side body. And then from there, you can bend the right knee, perhaps. If you just bend both knees and have a foundation like this, that's great too. Where you can see what you can do to use the arm and the leg as a lever to go a little bit deeper. So the bent leg can be in front of or behind the extended leg. And then yogi's choice. You can leave your hand in front of the face or the chest, or you can open up. So the left palm is towards the floor. And if you're opening up, see if you can keep that right palm towards the ceiling. So don't inner rotate the arm, but keep the palm towards the ceiling. And then just settle in. If you feel like you're already on your edge and the body starts to contract, come out of it a little bit. So if it's too much to have the right arm up, just bring it back in front of the body. If it's too much to have the right leg bent, just bring it down and have both legs just stacked. And then keep those deep belly breaths going. And notice what happens as you exhale.
Does the body automatically want to let go? Does the body automatically want to go a little deeper into the pose? If you can find 7 to 10 more breaths here, remember at any time you can come out of the pose a little bit. Noticing where you might have a twinge or a release might be somewhere completely different than where you're stretching right now. And if you do have the right arm extended, go ahead and bring it back in front of the body. Release the legs. And on your next exhale, just roll onto your belly. Support the forehead. And take about 5 breaths into the belly. Feel the compression of the belly on the mat. This is a really grounding thing to do if you're having any sort of anxiety or fear. It's just to lay on your belly and just breathe into the belly and feel how supported the earth is when you're pressing. As you feel the belly there, you can feel it press against the earth or the mat. And then just release on the exhale. 2 more like that. And then we're going to bring the arms out alongside the body one more time. Turn the head so this time you have the right temple on the block. Move it to however's comfortable. And then start to walk the right fingertips out. It's going to make a little bit more space into the shoulder as you roll onto the right side body. And then find the foundation in your legs. So we don't want to push so much that the body contracts. So every body is different. Find your version of the pose. If the leg is bent, you can use it like a lever to get a little deeper into the pose. And if you feel comfortable there, you can open up that left hand, that left arm. And then just check in with yourself. Make sure that the right palm is towards the mat. Left palm is towards the ceiling if you're opening. And then just breathe. Keeping the body-mind connection simply by noticing with the mind what's happening in the body. Noticing if you've gone too far and you need to come out of it a little bit. Noticing if you're holding back. If you're keeping really tight and you're not letting gravity release you, even though you have more spaciousness you can move into, just noticing. See if you can find 7 to 10 more breaths here. Keep the breath nice and long. And then if you've lifted the left hand behind you, go ahead and bring it back in front of the face. Release the legs, roll back onto the belly. Remove the block, stack the forearms of the wrists, untuck the toes if they're tucked, and once again, just take a few belly breaths here. With each exhalation, just releasing to gravity. So you might start to notice where you're holding things, even in a supported position. One more big belly breath here. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, press yourself back up into that tabletop. Take some hip circles. Notice if the circle feels any different. Pause, take the circle the opposite direction. And then we're just gonna take a little flow here. So go ahead and finish your hip circles, find your way back to center. Untuck the toes, take a full breath in. As you exhale, we're gonna come to cat. So draw the belly button towards the spine, release the neck. And as you inhale, you're gonna look forward into cow, draw the shoulder blades together and tuck the toes. So we're gonna add one more thing to that. On the exhale, coming into cat, rounding the back, release the crown of the head, and then pressing back into child's pose. Release all the stale air in child's pose. And on an inhale, coming forward, tucking the toes, drawing the shoulder blades together in the back, cow. So with your own breath, untucking the toes in cat, exhaling back into child's pose, really releasing all the stale air till you cannot exhale anything else. And only then coming forward into cow, tucking the toes. Take a few more rounds on your own. Exhaling cat, pressing back into child's pose. Expel all the stale air. Inhale forward into cow. Draw the shoulder blades together in the back. Open the heart. Making sure that as you come into child's pose, you really release the breath. Go ahead and take one more. And then the next time that you press yourself into cat and back into child's pose, we're going to stay there just for a few breaths. Now, if the forehead doesn't come all the way to the mat, bring something to support the head. You can have the arms along the front of the body, or you can relax them behind you. The head might come to the mat, might not. And just stay here for a few more breaths. Noticing on the exhale that you can release even more. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Walk yourself back up. And then we're going to come into a seat. Have your block handy, or your towel. You can have a choice here to lift the pelvis or keep the pelvis on the mat. So if you know you have a lot of tightness in the hips, you can come into the block. Otherwise, you might have more of a foundation on the mat, but just know your body, what you need. We're going to extend the right leg out. Sorry, I'm mirroring you. The left leg out. My right is your left. So if you want to mirror me, stick the left leg out. And we're going to come into shoelace pose here. But first we're going to lift that right leg, bring the forearms underneath it, and just give it a little rockabye baby. Open up that hip joint. You can bring it in a circle. You just rock it back and forth. Perhaps it might be available for you to stick the foot into the crook of the elbow. Other crook of elbow holds the knee and just
rock. So if this is available, great. You can rockabye baby from here. If not, just keep your forearms underneath the lower leg. And then we're gonna bring that right knee on top of the left. So you're in a little shoestring. You can't see my foot, but there's the little toes just sticking towards the ceiling. And then you might want your bolster here. If you know you're super flexible and you know your body, then you might not want it, but if you aren't sure, just have it handy. You can lift the pelvis a little bit. So if you're on a block, you're gonna get a little bit more lift and it's gonna be easier to fold forward. If you're on the floor, you're more likely to want to bolster. Bring the fingertips to the edges of the extended leg and just start walking those fingertips out. And then try not to just let the head dump. Try to bring the heart towards the kneecap. So you're gonna probably feel this a lot in the extended leg, opening of the hips and the back of the quads. If you're feeling it in your lower back, come out of it a little bit. Make sure that you're not just dumping and rounding the back. So the goal is not to get down or not to bring the head towards the legs. The goal is to move forward. So I'm bringing the heart towards the knee. I'm keeping the head up so that it's in line with the rest of the spine. If you have the support of the block or the pillow, then you can even support the head and the body to keep the spine in that same line. So whichever feels good to you. We're just gonna stay here just about 5 more breaths. And then you can start walking the hands back towards the thighs. We're gonna pick up that right leg just enough to bring the sole of the right foot onto the mat. And then come into a twist by squeezing the leg towards you with the left arm and start walking the right hand behind you. So once again, the twist, get nice and tall here. And then as you exhale, perhaps you can walk the hand back a little bit more. And then again, you don't need to crane the neck. You can keep the neck just looking forward. If you've been really tense in the neck, just start to take it over bit by bit. You might find already that you're able to go a little bit further than you were when we did our first twist tonight. And then keep squeezing that thigh towards you, that right thigh towards you into the belly, and let that lift the crown of the head taller. So you're staying nice and tall, you're staying grounded in both sits bones. Again, you might be on a block. You have a lot of tightness in the hips, you can try that out, or folded towel. Take another full breath in. As you exhale, see if you can go any deeper. And then go ahead and unwind. Release and extend the right leg forward. Bend that left leg. Pick it up for a little rockabye baby. So it might just be on the forearms. Starting there, seeing where you're at. Feeling both sits bones underneath you. Perhaps you can bring it into the crook of the arm. Take a few more breaths here. And then we're going to stack that left knee on the right.
Once you're here, you might need to move a little side to side, move the fleshy bits out so you can feel even on both sides of the buttocks, on the bones. And then you can start to just walk your fingers out, spider your fingers out. Once again, thinking about targeting the back of the leg to open, not the lower back. We don't want to be straining and rounding in the back. So whatever it is, to find support with a prop, or just using your own body to keep the head up to you. Breathing the breath into any tension, making space. See if you can find just a few more breaths here. And then start to walk the hands back towards the hips. Stand up nice and tall. Pick up the left leg just enough to bring the left foot onto the outside of the right thigh. Reach out with that right arm and squeeze the thigh towards you. So you're really drawing it into the body. Standing up nice and tall. We're sitting up nice and tall. And then start walking your left hand behind you. And just moving into the twist. Again, we're giving ourselves a little massage in the organs here by squeezing that thigh into the belly. And remember, you don't need to crane the neck. Let the neck unwind. So even if you just start with the eyes, moving the eyes towards the left shoulder. And then the body wants to go where you're looking, so you might find a little bit more release. Stay nice and tall. Stay with the breath. See if you can find 3 more breaths here. Keep squeezing that leg in. Give yourself that massage. It's free with purchase. And then you can start to unwind the body. Back to the front. Unwind the legs. Extend both legs in front of you. Bring the hands to the tops of the knees. And use the arms to just shake the legs out. So you're just getting a little bit, moving that synovial fluid around those hip joints. And then once again, we're going to come onto the back, on the mat. Have both props nearby. So whether or not you're using a block or a towel, just have it nearby. And we're going to come into a supported fish pose. So we're going to bring the block or the towel right between the shoulder blades. So you're going to lay the block down, find your way down. Onto your back. So that the shoulders are supported and the head is on the mat. And then just relax relax the arms out on either side of you. And then release the legs long if that feels available. So we want the pelvis heavy on the mat. We want the head connected to the mat. Arms are open on either side. Keep those palms towards the ceiling. If this feels like too much, just bend the knees. And then working with the breath again. So just on each exhalation, release into gravity. Inhale, really feeling the expansion. Exhale. Release to gravity. Be here for about 10 to 15 more breaths. So notice what happens as you inhale into the belly and exhale, where in the body is ready to release. See if you can find a few more breaths here. And then go ahead and bend the knees. Take another full breath in, a full breath out. And then on your next exhalation, bring the chin towards the chest, press into the arms, draw yourself all the way back up. We're gonna move the block or the towel down into the area right behind the belly. Now, if you have a hard block, then use your bolster. So this is a foam block, which will be okay. We're gonna move it so the longer end is going across the body. And once again, you want the pelvis heavy on the mat. You'll know right away if this is too much once you extend the legs, even with the legs bent. If it feels like too much, just bring it out and use your pillow. The main thing is you want to be supported by the earth. So either with the pillow or the block, the pelvis is still on the mat, and now the shoulders should be pretty close to the mat, if not on the mat. And remember, if the body starts to contract, it means you've gone too far. So if this feels like too much, either change your prop or bend the knees. See if you can find 5 to 7 more breaths here. Noticing on the exhalation where the body is ready to release tension. And then go ahead and bend the knees. Press into the feet to lift the pelvis. move the block down just a bit to where we had it earlier when we were doing legs at the wall, so right under the sacrum. And then extend the legs long. So again, if it's too much, just stay with the bridge prep. You're getting a lot of the same benefits. Otherwise, if you can extend the legs, and of course you can have a towel or a bolster under there. So play around with either prop. Extend the legs long. Notice if you're craning the chin towards the ceiling, and see if you can relax the neck so it's towards the chest. Just finding 7 to 10 more breaths there. And then begin to bend the knees, bring the feet back onto the mat. Take a full breath in, and a full breath out. And then press into the feet and remove the block. Let yourself roll all the way down for Savasana. And if you're having any sort of lower back pain, or even if you're not, bring your bolster, your cushion underneath the knees. And then walk your shoulder blades together in the back. Let the hands shine towards the ceiling. Close off the eyes. I'm going to take you through a short guided relaxation. So you can just follow the sound of my voice. First here, just noticing where the body is touching the mat. See if you can release into that support underneath you. And then squeeze and fist the toes. And then release. Squeeze the leg as if you're drawing the muscle of the leg towards the bone. And then release. Squeeze and contract the buttocks. And then release. On your next exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine and squeeze out all the air. And then relax on the inhale. Let yourself take a big, natural, deep breath. Squeeze the shoulders up to the ears. And then release. Bend the elbows, reach for opposite shoulders, and give yourself a big squeeze, a big, big hug. And then release. Allow the arms to come back alongside the body, palm side up. Walk the shoulder blades back underneath you. And then squeeze and fist the fingers. And then release.
Squeeze and fist the fingers and then turn the wrists in, squeezing the muscles of the arms to the bone. And then release. Gently look towards one shoulder. Press that side of your head into the mat. And then roll the head back to center. Gently press, gently look over to the other shoulder. Press that side of the head into the mat. And then roll back towards center. Squeeze all the face towards the nose. And then release. Open the jaw wide. And then release. Squeeze the eyes shut. Release. Open the eyes wide. And then let the eyes just find a gentle rest. Become aware of the body touching the floor. Become aware of the body in full relaxation on your mat. Feel the support of the ground below you. It allows you to let go. You begin this way. This is your hand. This is your eye. Once you have learned these words, you will learn that there are more words than you can ever learn. The word hand floats above your hand like a small cloud over a lake. The word hand anchors your hand to this table. Your hand is a warm stone I hold between these two words. This is your hand. These are my hands. This is the world, which is round but not flat, has more colors than we can see. It begins, it has an end, and this is what you will come back to. This is your hand. Begin bringing a little movements into your hands. Just gently bringing each finger to gently touch the tip of the thumb. And then extending the hands and the fingers wide and drawing all the fingers in towards the palm. Begin fisting and extending the toes. Extending through the ankles and flexing the feet. Rolling out the wrists. And gently looking from one shoulder, pausing, and then looking, bringing the head across the body, looking towards the other shoulder, pausing, and then bringing yourself back to center. Since you're in your home shala, of course, you are welcome to stay in Savasana. If you would like to wake up, take a full body stretch, inhaling the hands up overhead, extending through the fingertips, extending through the toes, and then rolling on to one side or the other and using the arm as a pillow. bend the knees towards the chest. Bring the upper arm across the legs and just give yourself a big hug. Give yourself a kind of hug like someone you haven't seen in a while. And then when you're ready, use that upper arm to press yourself up, find a seat. You can keep the gaze turned inward and just gently bring the palms back to that place where we started, just above and inside the kneecap, that liver point, joy of living. You can make circles with the palms or just have them resting there. As you notice any changes, not only in the physical body, but maybe in the way that you feel mentally. And then draw the hands towards the chest. Bring the thumbs towards the sternum. Bring the chin towards the chest and just honor yourself for taking this time for yourself to nourish, reset, undo, and renew. The light in me honors and recognizes that divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you for allowing me to guide your practice this evening.